Coach, you're one of three newcomers in the ACC, and talking with Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski, they said that you should just not scout them. That's their best advice to you. Have you picked up anything here? What's it like to be one of the new kids on the block?
It's a different feeling, I guess, is the best way to describe it. It's a culmination a little bit of a lot of hard work and a little bit of a dream to get to this level. You kind of don't realize it until you're here. Probably the ACC meetings were the first time that you just kind of sat there and were like, wow, I'm the ACC head coach. You're looking around the room and you see all the other coaches, Mike Krzyzewski, Gary Williams, Roy Williams, guys that have won national championships, and you're like, that's a good thing, but it's also a little bit of a challenging thing to think about. But it's very exciting. It's a dream come true to be at this level, to coach at this level, and the competitor in you, is excited about getting after it and coaching your team and have an opportunity to compete against the best.
You guys were picked 7th in the preseason poll. I know that most coaches pretty much don't care about a preseason poll, but is that where you should be in your mind? Should you be a little higher or lower?
I don't really know. We lost a tremendous player, Trevor Booker. Whoever was coaching at Clemson, whether it was Oliver, me, or somebody else, it's going to be a little bit of a changing of the guard. Trevor's kind of been our face of the program for the last couple of years. He's been an All-ACC player. He's a first-round NBA draft choice, and so naturally the roles and everything that goes with it is going to change. And so I think we're probably a bit of an unknown. I don't know that any of our guys were picked All-ACC, and that's probably the case. And as a result, if you're not, everybody picked at that level, you're probably not going to be picked in the top 3 or whatever. So, hopefully the strength of our team is some depth. Hopefully we have 9 or 10 guys that have a little ACC experience, feel good about the fact that they've been in these venues before and understand a little bit about what college basketball is like. But now we've got to have a couple guys elevate their games. We've got to have somebody like DeMontis Stitt become, an all-league type player. We've got to find an inside player, whether it's Devin Booker, Jure Grant, to become a consistent scorer inside. And we've got to have guys like Andre Young, and Tanner Smith, Noel Johnson. We've got to have somebody become a consistent outside shooter. So I think there's a lot of question marks to our team, and it starts with me as a new head coach, and kind of just goes all the way through. Because of that, we're picked wherever.
Have you seen DeMontis take on a leadership role in this whole time?
Yeah, I really have. He's a guy I talked with a great deal when I first got the job. I think DeMontis is a young man who's had a very good career at Clemson. He's a little bit under-recruited. I think he's played as a guy with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And he's had a good career. And he's yearning a little bit for the spotlight. He's yearning for an opportunity to have an expanded role. He's yearning for the opportunity to be a leader. And he's really never been asked to do that. I think, that's bothered him. I think he'd like to be asked to be a leader. And right when I got the job, he and I sat down and we talked about all those things. We got to know each other. And I challenged him and Jure and told those guys that I really want them to have good senior seasons. They've been good players here. They've been productive players, productive people, and that this would be a special time in their life, and I want them to be successful, and I want them to feel like they have the ownership in this team. And I think they've greatly appreciated that. They've greatly appreciated the fact that I'm not talking about rebuilding or any of those kinds of things, or we'll wait till this or that. It's just like, let's approach this year the best we can. And those guys are being asked to be leaders and are doing a good job of it.
Coach, you've been described as a kid in the candy store when you're at practice. What is it about your style? What do you think that you bring to it when you're trying to get promoted?
Well, I don't know. I'm passionate about what I do. I'm enthusiastic. I'm excited. I'm involved. I get out and sweat with the guys. I want them to enjoy the process. I want them to be passionate about the process. It's a phrase I talk about, being passionate about the process of getting better every day. I want them to understand we can't let time go by. Lost time is never found. You need to consistently work each and every day if you want to be a champion. And we have very spirited practices. sometimes positively, sometimes negatively, but there's going to be a lot of spirit, and we're going to really work to get better. And I think it's the pace of our practices has been good as well. It's been fast, it's been upbeat. I think our guys have enjoyed that. Their enthusiasm has been really high. Their work ethic has been high, so that's been positive. And as a result, I think our guys are enjoying maybe a little different style of coaching for a change.
You talked about getting to know your players, though. We asked Andre, he said he Googled you once, just once. But you know, how do you go about getting to know your players, or the players you have now, when you didn't recruit these guys, and you're kind of coming in, you got to get to know all of them at once?
Spend a lot of time with them. When I got the job, you know, I told my staff right from day one, the most important thing right now is the players, not recruiting, not all the speaking engagements I had to do, not this or that. Like we've got to get to know these kids. And so, you know, I had team meeting, I had meetings with captains, I had meetings with seniors, I met with each kid individually. But then beyond that, we talked to their parents, met with a lot of parents. But then we also went and met them on their turf. We went to their dorm rooms and spent time with them. We had them come to our office. We went to the dining hall, sat down and talked to them during a meal. Just spent a lot of time with them, especially last spring, for those guys to get to know us, for them to get to understand that we're here, we care about them, we want them to be good players. We also want them to graduate. We care about them as people and their problems. If you have something that comes up, we want you to be able to talk to us, even though you don't have we haven't spent a lot of time together. I think our kids really appreciated that. They felt a genuine sincerity in how they were being coached. And I think it's helped us coach them again in the fall, because they know that we do care about them as people. And when they don't do well in something academically, or they aren't where they're supposed to be, I call them to the carpet. They know that I expect things to be done in a certain way, but I also want to have fun. I also want to spend time with them. I want them to come by my office and not talk about basketball. I want them to come by and talk about a great movie. I want them to come by and talk about a game they saw last night. Anything that can get them to come in and see me and have good conversation and dialogue. And I think that's been good. It's been a little bit different for them.
Has there been anything about Clemson that really surprised you?
Other than there's no movie theater in town, you know, not really. I mean, I love Clemson because I love the college town. I love the fact that people wear orange all the time. I love the fact that there's tiger paws on the ground coming in, you know, the cement coming into town. I love the fact that, you know, people still write on the windows on College Street, you know, football game this, Rock the John Friday. It just has that. There's a genuineness to it that I think is special. It's unique to have big-time ACC athletics in a small college town. I think is special, and the people really care about the players. They care about the coaches, and they want to support you. They want to see you do well, and they're going to support you. And I think that's unique and really special.
After 6 months of speaking engagements and things like this, how much are you chomping at the bit for that first game at home?
I'm not chomping at the bit for a game. I was chomping at the bit for practice. As coaches, I like practice. I like to get out there and really spend time coaching the game with our players. I like to be around them and out in the activity. On the game, I got to be on the sideline. I don't like that as much. And we're not ready to play yet, so you know I'll be more ready for a game when I feel like we're ready to play. But I certainly have enjoyed the last week of practice.
How have your players adjusted to go into a different style of play than what they've done the past couple of years?
I think pretty well. I mean, we're a long way from being any good. Offensively is a challenge right now. We run a motion offense, and it's much more complex. It's read and react. You don't pass the ball, and the ball goes there, and that tells you what to do. When the ball goes there, you cut to the basket. When the ball goes there, you screen away. We run more of a motion offense where if you pass it there, you can cut to the basket, you can screen away, you can replace yourself, you can inside cut. And so now everybody's got to read and react to all those situations. Then you got to read and react to the defense. There's a lot of thought going on, and because of that, it's challenging. And because of that, we're not very good right now on offense. I think defensively, we're making progress. It's not as big a change. You know, we're not pressing, but they did play man-to-man defense. Our principles aren't all alike, but it's not as big an adjustment. And we'll make those adjustments there. That should be something we should get better at and be better at early. Offensively, we've really got to keep after it, and that'll be a work in progress all season.
Milton Jennings, I think by many Clemson fans, was kind of considered a bust last season. And even Coach Brownell sort of jumped on fans for being so hard on him. How's he coming along? I mean, here's a guy who was a McDonald's All-American, which is not easy to attain in high school.
You know, the first thing I always say is I think the ratings you can throw the ratings out the window. There's certainly a few kids every year that we all can look at and see that kid's probably not going to be here for 4 years. He's going to be a year or two guy, and he's going to go to the NBA. But I think there's a lot of kids that are 3 stars and not 5 stars that become 5 stars when they're in college, and there's some 5-star guys that don't do as well. I'm pleased with what Milt's done so far. He's a work in progress as well, but he's had some good days. He's just got to continue to not let small things bother him. He's got to continue to take the coaching. He's got to continue to play with confidence. I think he'll be an improved player. He can't worry about what people expect out of him. He's just got to do what we want him to do, and he's got to give us his best. If he'll do that and take the coaching, he'll be fine.
Coach, talk about Dabo, what he's done to help your transition, obviously.
Yeah. Dabo's a great guy. He's a good football coach, but he's a great man. He's a good family man. He's been fantastic for me and my family. When I got there in April, he quickly made contact with me, and then we got on that May speaking circuit to Prowl and Growls and spent a lot of time together. Really had a good time bantering back and forth, talking to the Clemson fans. In fact, he's in charge of free throws this year. Most people don't know that, but Dabo's in charge of free throws. So if you want to ask me about free throw problems, apparently that's been a problem in Clemson over the years. You really just need to email Dabo Sweeney at Clemson.edu and he'll answer all your questions. Don't even bother me with that. But he's a great guy, a good person. He's helped me adjust. He's helped me understand Clemson. And I really like his whole staff. One thing that's been fun for me is to watch big-time football and get to know a lot of different coaches. I go out to practice about once a week and see those guys for a while. When they went in their little tailspin there for a short time, there weren't as many people going out to practice. And so I was trying to be out there and be a friendly face, but just a good person with a great coaching staff, and he's a guy who's been very good to me about helping me adjust to Clemson.
One final question, please.
I guess that's it.
Day.mov.